Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMV, the Sexy Ninja, the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about Collision. June 8th, 2024, Tony Nigel on commentary. I want Nigel to be on all the Dynamite shows. I love the sassiness of Nigel. He needs to be on everything. We're in the Mid-America Center, Council Bluffs, Iowa, for a really great night of Collision. I thought I had a good time. And next week's the 1-year anniversary. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I missed the promos that started the show. Before the music credit, before the intro hit and everything, they're like, look here, brother, we're going to blah, 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 blah. I was just like, oh, it just felt different. And Collision felt different from Dynamite, from Rampage. It felt fresh. It got a new stage. That just kind of falls in line of just being another show that they're doing, you know. It ain't this show, it ain't that show, it's just a part of the show now for AEW. So I went back and looked, I was like, oh man, I remember like that, the promos in the starting, and I was like, yeah, got you hyped, and then Saturday night, you know, the Elton John song, and it was just like, the glory days. And it's funny saying glory days, it was just a year ago. A show that was created for CM Punk, his flagship show. Then of course we all know what happens, and now here it is 1 year later. Time goes by, but we started off with the banger, folks. FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Oh man, I was on the edge of my seat for this one. Back and forth, and it goes into a time limit draw. Like I said, I was on the edge of my seat this whole match, man. These two teams beat the shit out of each other all the way to a time limit draw. Crowd screaming bullshit. You know, FTR, Dax is like, 5 more minutes, and here comes Brandon with Elite Biz to handle and says, hey, the Buck says no. The contract says 20 minutes, not 5 minutes more, not 25, not 30. And what does these two teams do? They beat the shit out of Brandon. Sending their message to the Elite, to the books. But we got Lexi backstage with Kyle O'Reilly. He has a big main event with Orange Cassidy tonight. Here comes Undisputed Kingdom. Roderick's like, Kyle! And he's like, hey, man, if you need advice, I've beaten Orange Cassidy before. You know, you can come to me. And Kyle's like, hey, man, like you said, time and time again, you know. And I was like, didn't the Undisputed Kingdom attack him? And they do remind us later on in the show that did happen, so I wasn't crazy. So, but Undisputed Kingdom and the Kyle O'Reilly story, and Roderick said something because you need something or maybe someone, and I was like, was that a hint? Was that a tease? Bobby Fish? Oh, Red Dragon? Oh, I don't know though. I think if I remember right, Bobby burned his bridge with AEW. Robin Renegade versus Chris Statlander with Stokely. It was okay. Just to show Chris's dominance in that ring, that they cut a promo afterwards. And Chris is going to be in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And if you know this tournament, the winner will go on to face the champions at All In. So it's a big opportunity. It's a big tournament every year. Stokely hyping up Chris and says, she's the reason why I get up. I want to be as strong as Chris. I want to be as fast as Chris. I want to be as awesome as Chris. And he made the comment, it's Saturday night. I like that. We got Lexi backstage, and she gets with Willow and tells Willow, like, hey, Chris Statlander has entered her name into the Owen Hart tournament. And Willow's like, well, just to let you know, I have as well. And she's like, I'm keeping my eye on the action tonight. So we're going to get more Willow. Dustin Rose versus Johnny TV. Okay. Dustin Rose got the win. He cut the promo after. A long-winded promo. And I like the fact he's like, God, I'm getting old. But he's basically calling out Jack Perry. Says, you ain't sacrificed shit, kid. But they're going to have a match on Dynamite next week. And, I mean, he's going on and on. And, like, my favorite part is, like, you see these cameramen? Best cameramen in the wrestling business, brother. I was like, all right. I was like, come on, man, get to the point here. What are we doing? What are we doing? But Zack Saber Jr. has called out Orange Cassidy for Forbidden Door. And I'm like, yes, please. The Premier Athletes versus Squash Gang. Who do you think won? Premier Athletes. Then we got a Scorpio Sky promo. I'm like, man, this guy's taking a long time to come back. A long time. We go into a match that I really enjoy. Toni Storm versus Lady Frost. Fun match. These two know each other. I do like Lady Frost. Toni Storm gets the win. Cuts a promo after. And tells Mariah that she loves her. She's everything. And she's going to demand, damn it, as our AEW Women's Champion, that Mariah May gets into the Owen Hart tournament. Mariah May is happy. So, like I said on my Rampage review, I'm like, I know that a turn is coming. Mariah May either turns on Toni, or I feel it's very unlikely Toni will turn on Mariah. But we shall see, and especially if Mariah wins the Owen Hart tournament. You know, because if she does, she'll face Toni Storm, unless Toni Storm loses that title to Mina at Forbidden Door, which I don't think is going to happen. But still, storytelling here. Lexi's backstage with Shane Taylor Promotions. Top Flight and Action Andretti. Back and forth. Rumble, Young Man Rumble, all that good stuff. But this is what I found funny. Hook and Joe, and Shibata is holding the camera. He goes, look here, speak and spell. Come on. I don't know why. Joe calling Shibata speak and spell is so fucking great. When they go, and he's like, you ready for this? And then they're talking about, I think, not Quidditch, that's Harry Potter, right? No, what's all this? Lacrosse. He's like, how is that the oldest sport in America? Hook is like, it is. And they're like, oh, I was like, this is great. Well, I don't know what's going on. But they go on and attack the Premier Athletes. Got Smart Mark Sterling. He's like, remember who did this? Saw Joe's in his face. And I would be scared shitless as well. And as the camera pans to Mark, Shibata hits the thing and says, no crying in wrestling. Speak and spell. Oh, yeah, but Hook and Joe and Shibata on camera, even though he didn't do anything, definitely sent a message to the Premier Athletes. Then next we have Lexi with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy has a big match tonight with Kyle O'Reilly. So, you know how that goes. Then we get Daniel Garcia versus Squash Gang. Daniel Garcia for the win. Daddy Magic on commentary. And we get a package for a new CMLL talent that's going to be coming to AEW. A lot of work with CMLL, you know? And I kind of like it. You know, I want more cross promotions, and just like tonight's Battleground, we get some TNA with WWE. Then we get an open challenge at Against All Odds next week with Jordan Grace. It's like, who's going to answer that? So it's cool to have crossovers. Now we get into our main event. Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly. Awesome. Great match. I knew it was going to be. Kyle is so goddamn good in that ring. And I really wanted him to win this match. But Orange Cassidy won this match. And I was kind of like, God damn it. Come on, Kyle. I need a Kyle O'Reilly shirt because I'm pulling for Kyle. And if Bobby Fish and them reunite in some way, somehow, in some shape, some form, I'm praying to the wrestling gods. Red Dragon reunite. I'd be happy. But I am enjoying Kyle's single run. He's looking great every time he's in that ring. Undisputed Kingdom, they're ringside. Then after Orange Cassidy got the win, here comes Trent. Here comes Kyle Fletcher. They attack Don, Callis family. And all of a sudden, here comes Chris Statlander. She shakes hands with Trent. Then here comes Willow. So Willow's like, oh my God, all this destruction. Ah. And of course, Don Callis families with Chris and Stokely, they're out there. They're watching. And Willow Nightingale is with Orange Cassidy and with Kyle O'Reilly. They're in the ring. And I thought Undisputed Kingdom was going to help. But it makes sense not to because they're heels. Fun show. 4 out of 5. Collision. June 8th, 2024. My match of the night, though, is that opening match. FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club. Fucking awesome. Even though a time limit draw, I like that Brandon came out. Handled that elite biz. Fun match. Tony Nigel. I want more Tony and Nigel. I want more Nigel McGuinness, goddammit. More Nigel McGuinness on the fucking commentary team because he's great, and his beef with Bryan Danielson makes me chuckle every goddamn time. Nigel McGuinness for everything AEW on all commentary teams. I want that. Yes. All right, y'all. Like and subscribe. Share it, grab a share the bum down at Walmart. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. Hit it, folks. And go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet nWp logo created by Penta X. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness. Here on TNT. And down goes Dax the X. One.